Hi there, this is Datila with Rangers of Wrestling bringing you the Wrestling Time post show for tonight. I will be reviewing AEW Dynamite New Year's Smash. Alright, so tonight's Dynamite was the last Dynamite of the year. And I have to say, I thought it was a good show tonight. The main event was the TNT Championship match, Samoa Joe versus Wardlow. And so earlier in the night, Samoa Joe attacked Wardlow while he was in the middle of a backstage interview. He attacked him with a steel pipe to the knee. So during this match, Samoa Joe targeted that knee with a series of strikes and kicks. The knee was affected to the point that Wardlow struggled to do the Powerball Symphony to Samoa Joe, and that is Wardlow's signature move here. So Samoa Joe ended up winning after he put Wardlow in the rear naked chokehold and Wardlow passed out. So he successfully retained the TNT title. So at the end of the match, you thought that maybe Samoa Joe would show Wardlow respect then. But no, that did not happen. Samoa Joe ended up hitting Wardlow with the title out, which I assume was the TNT title. You couldn't really tell based on the angle on the camera. And after that, he headbutted referee Paul Turner. And to add insult to injury, Samoa Joe, he dug under the ring, he pulled out this toolbox, and he was looking for something. And he ended up finding a pair of scissors. And you guys know Wardlow has that ponytail, that man bun that he likes to wear. So Samoa Joe took those scissors and he cut off Wardlow's ponytail. And he held it up. Yes, that ponytail that Wardlow likes to wear is now gone. And so afterwards, Darby Allin comes out and he attacks Samoa Joe with a skateboard across the spine. Now, next week, they are in Seattle, which is Darby's hometown. So I would not be surprised if we get Samoa Joe versus Darby Allin for that TNT title. Also, too, based on the way things ended tonight on Dynamite, I do have a strong feeling that the rivalry between Samoa Joe and Wardlow is going to continue. It has to. And you know what? I don't know how you guys feel about this, but like they should do a winner take all match. They should have Samoa Joe versus Wardlow for not only the TNT title, but for the ROH television title, since Samoa Joe declares himself the true king of television because he has both of those titles. Alright, so Dynamite New Year's Smash opened up with Bryan Danielson versus All Eagle Ethan Page. Now, MJF was hanging up in the skybox, and according to him, he found the only hot girl in Colorado. And while this was going on, Ethan Page took advantage of the situation and he attacked Bryan Danielson. And this was actually a good match. I liked it. I'm not surprised Bryan Danielson won here. And so with that being said, Bryan is definitely setting his sights on MJF. Where Ethan Page goes from here, I don't know. But he's lost quite a bit. So they have to rebuild him if he's going to be a contender for a title anytime soon. I feel like because Seattle is also Bryan Danielson's hometown, something's going to happen there with MJF. Something has to happen, whether it be an impromptu match or a promo. That, I mean, if you want to get MJF to get booed in Seattle, you have to have Bryan go out there, cut a promo, and then have MJF attack him. I mean, no matter what, though, MJF is going to get booed in Seattle. So I don't know how much they can extend this feud, but with Revolution being early March, I could potentially see this feud going up to Revolution. But it's also possible that it will happen before Revolution, too. So after this is the Wardlow promo where Samoa Joe attacked him. But basically, Wardlow was saying that there's been too much talking. And tonight is about powerful action before Samoa Joe attacks him with that pipe. Then we get a quick Hangman Adam Page segment. And he's basically talking about how there's no update on him. And it's somewhat hinted at the fact that he might be able to get back in the ring in 2 weeks, which would be the LA show. And on Rampage, we are going to hear from Jon Moxley. So I'm assuming that on Rampage, we're going to get either official confirmation or we're going to get somewhat of a setup that's going to lead into that match for the LA show. Remember, there's still one more Dynamite before that LA show, and it's next week, We get a tag team title match. It is Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli versus Top Flight. Honestly, I really like this match. I thought it was a fantastic match. Top Flight, if Darius can stay healthy, has a bright future ahead of them in the tag team division. I honestly want to see them win some gold. I mean, Darius Martin's singles match against Jon Moxley was incredible. Dante Martin alone is incredible too, and the two of them together are amazing. So 2022 was just a bad year for them as a tag team. You know, Darius Martin was out with an injury, but hopefully 2023 would bring better things for them as a tag team. They're a really great tag team. This match was really impressive. Honestly, really like Top Flight. I would not have been upset if Top Flight won here, but I can understand why Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli won this tag match. We get a backstage segment with Kip Sabian, and he's basically making a case for himself to challenge for the All-Atlantic title. Now, Trent Beretta is quick to remind Kip Sabian that Trent eliminated him, and that going based off Kip's logic, Trent should be challenging for the AEW All-Atlantic title, which is actually going to happen this Friday on Rampage. So I'm actually looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to that, honestly. I think Trent is going to lose because there is probably it's gonna probably set up Kip Sabian versus Orange Cassidy. Then we get the squash match. It's Hook versus Baylum Lynx. I feel like this squash match was unnecessary because you could have done what came after without having the squash match. So basically what happens after is that Stokely Hathaway, Big Bill, and Lee Moriarty all come out, and they're basically talking about how they think it's crazy that everyone says that Hook is such a badass, and he calls Hook the Southwest Airlines of AEW. So Big Bill gets in Hook's face, and obviously you can see the height difference between Big Bill and Hook. Like, it's a lot. And Jungle Boy comes out, and he helps Hook, since Hook last time saved him from Big Bill and Lee Moriarty. Jungle Boy hits Big Bill on the spine with a 2x4. So again, I get what they were doing, and I get why they had this the way it did, but I just feel like you didn't really need the squash match to set the segment up. You could have just had Hook go out there, and instead of having his opponent go out there, you could have just had Stokely Hathaway, Big Bill, and Lee Moriarty go out there instead. But that's just my personal opinion. You can feel free to disagree with me. We get a Chris Jericho promo, and he's basically talking about how Ricky Starks turned down the opportunity of a lifetime. If you guys remember last week on Dynamite, Chris Jericho did offer Ricky Starks the chance to join JAS. And Chris Jericho starts talking about how he mocked the JAS, how he mocked Jericho, and how he thinks Starks is foolish and small-minded. And that Starks doesn't have all the tools to succeed, but Jericho does. And he's going to school Starks on January 4th. And he's a wizard, he's an ocho, and he always wins. And then he tells Ricky Starks to check on Action Andretti because he got hit with the fireball. And he says that Action Andretti should go back to the Indies and leave AEW. And so one of the things that AEW was plugging tonight is how a new era begins on Wednesday because, you know, Dynamite's getting a new look. But the fact that they said a new era begins on Wednesday kind of leads me to believe that maybe Ricky Starks is going to defeat Chris Jericho. I mean, I know Chris Jericho lost to Action Andretti and he lost to Claudio, but I think Ricky Starks beating Chris Jericho makes a lot of sense than Chris Jericho beating Ricky Starks. But I'm very interested to see what is going to happen. Who do you guys think is going to win, Chris Jericho or Ricky Starks? Let me know in the comment section. We get match 6 of the Best of 7 series. It is a Falls Count Anywhere match. The Elite versus the Death Triangle. And this was actually a fun match. I actually really enjoyed this match. I probably liked this match a little bit better than I did the No DQ match. Don't get me wrong, the No DQ match was a lot of fun as well. Or at least in my opinion, it was a lot better than the No DQ match. I felt like there was a lot more that happened in this match than in the No DQ match. But what did you guys like better? The No DQ, Falls Count Anywhere? I'm actually really excited because I'm going to go to that Dynamite and I'm going to see match 7, the Escalera de la Muerte match in person. So I'm so excited about that. And I called this correctly. I think a lot of people were able to predict that this was going to be a tied series. It's going to be 3-3 and with the 7 match taking place. And the matches did go back and forth. victories. So they were 3-2, and now we are tied 3-3. And I actually cannot wait for the Escalera de la Muerte match. Wow. Some of my favorite spots in this match were Pac hitting Kenny Omega with that trash can. Or how about that Canadian Destroyer that Matt Jackson did to Penta? How can we not talk about Rey Fenix doing a Hurricanrana to Matt Jackson and then doing a cutter to Nick Jackson? And then he took out Kenny Omega and Michael Nakazawa on the outside. I want to talk about the finish and we'll talk about what happened here. So in the ring, you had Matt Jackson and Pac. And Pac was putting Matt Jackson in a submission hold. Meanwhile, on the outside, you had Kenny Omega and Rey Fenix. Kenny Omega did the one-wing angel to Rey Fenix through a table from the top of the structure. And because of that, the Elite were victorious. Now, Matt Jackson tapped out to Pac's submission hold after Kenny Omega got the pin. So I thought that was a pretty interesting finish right there. And I know I said this already, but I cannot wait for that Escalera de la Muerte match. It's going to be awesome. Then we get the Acclaimed music video, and it was them just seeing Triple J, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lito. I'm honestly not a huge fan of this feud. I really don't want to see Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lito beat the Acclaim for those tag titles. So this feud needs to end. I'm not a huge fan of that feud. Then we get Ty Melo and Anna JAS versus Ruby Soho and Willow Nightingale. This is actually surprisingly not a bad match. I like the match. I'm just a little surprised at the outcome. So back at All Out during the buy-in, Ty Melo broke Ruby Soho's nose. And you would think that Ruby Soho, this would be her chance to get revenge. But instead, Ty J ended up being victorious after the ref caught Anna J with a chair. This distraction allowed Ty Melo to bring in a chair and do a pump kick using the steel chair to Ruby. So I'm surprised by the finish. I really thought Ruby Soho and Willow Nightingale were going to win this. So I guess this means the feud is continuing. I mean, I'm assuming it has to continue until Ruby Soho gets a win over Ty Melo. We get a backstage segment with the Guns, and they're basically leaving Dynamite because they're still in party mode. And they said that next week they're going to address their victory against FTR. So after this, you get a backstage segment with Ricky Starks. He's basically talking about how he feels a lot better than poor Action Andretti, who was a victim of a fireball, and that he's going to do what Action Andretti can't do for himself, and that is get revenge. And Jericho, he says that Jericho doesn't like the fact that Starks can think for himself, and he's a star that Chris Jericho cannot control. Ricky Starks says that he has a big mouth and a bad attitude, and he's going to take Jericho a few notches down because he can. So, good promo by Ricky Starks, and I'm actually really looking forward to Chris Jericho versus Ricky Starks. I honestly think Ricky Starks should win and beat Chris Jericho, but that's just me. And after this, we had the TNT Championship match, Samoa Joe versus Wardlow. I already talked about this at the beginning, but just to reiterate in case you missed it, Samoa Joe is victorious in this after he puts Wardlow in a rear naked chokehold. He spent the entire match targeting the bad knee that he purposely hit with the steel pipe earlier in the night. Samoa Joe adding insult to injury by chopping off Wardlow's man bun, his ponytail. I felt like that reminded me a little bit of the Nightmare Collective when they would cut people's hair. And it seems like we're going to get Samoa Joe versus Darby Allin after Darby Allin came out with the skateboard and he attacked Samoa Joe. So overall, good Dynamite. Awesome way to end the new year. I'm really excited and looking forward to what 2023 has in store for AEW Dynamite. We still don't know who Soraya's partner is going to be for the LA show, so that's one thing I'm looking forward to. But with that being said, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching and for the continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I'll see you guys next. Actually, I hope to see you guys, if everything goes well, I hope to see you guys Friday live after AEW Rampage. Bye.